see the eclipse from here, there are plenty of historical observations and recordings to be made here at NASA Space Center. When they're not on stage, they're in this building, where artistry blooms, memories are made, and dancers learn to push and express themselves more than ever before. And on both sides of the Red River, organizations are pushing to make water more sustainable. Citizens all around Denison come to enjoy this park, so the city decided this would be the perfect place to install their first peri-weather warning system. This plot of land I'm standing on right now will be where the next Habitat for Humanity home will be built. And these plans are just a rough draft of what this kitchen will soon turn into.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on NTTV Nightly News. I'm Grace Escobar.
And I'm Avery Callens. Just hours ago, a major reversal by the United States Supreme Court will have a direct effect on all of us here in Texas in a very short time.
The court has lifted a ban on the Texas Senate Bill 4, the highly controversial law that gives police the authority to arrest and detain people they suspect of being illegal immigrants.
Yesterday afternoon, the court agreed to delay enforcement of this Texas law until lower courts could rule on it. But this morning, that changed. With the 3 liberal judges voting no, the court's conservative majority removed the ban, clearing the way for the Texas law enforcement agents to arrest individuals suspected of being here illegally. This is a job that would normally be handled by federal agents. However, this victory for Texas may be temporary. While the high court removed the ban, legal challenges are still in play at the lower court levels. So the law can only be enforced until those decisions are made. The Biden administration is suing Texas, saying only the federal government can make immigration law. UNT science professor Matthew Espasoja says, nevertheless, this means there is still a possibility to discuss an immigration reform.
To Texas's credit, they are pushing the envelope. They are trying to move this. The more it stays in the news, presumably the more likely it is that the federal government will respond with a revised immigration policy. At the very least, it provides opportunities for both Democrats and Republicans to score political points.
This is an ongoing story, and NCTV will keep you up to date as it develops. With early voting in full swing, you might be wondering who's on the ballot here in Denton. This past weekend, I interviewed all 3 Denton mayoral candidates for our series called Making the Mayors. These exclusive interviews give you an insight into each of these candidates' stories and why they are running for office. Incumbent Mayor Gerard Hudspeth kicks off our series. My first question for you is, you have been the leader of over 100,000 Denton residents for a little over 4 years. How do you represent the diversity of the Denton community through your work as mayor?
For me, the important part is being out and about and attending events, going to schools, so I go to the elementary schools, high schools, those sort of things, because that's where I get the most feedback, stay the most plugged in. Those that are going to send you emails are going to send emails. But
you can see the next 2 mayoral candidate interviews tomorrow and Thursday. Just like Mr. Hudspeth, each of these candidates have unique backgrounds and perspectives to bring to the Denton community. So if you're a Denton County voter, don't miss out on the opportunity to meet the person behind the name on the ballot. Grace, back to you. Thanks, Brooke. I want to begin with one of the most glaringly obvious issues impacting voters across the nation, political polarization. To what extent does political polarization inhibit the election and a number of other governmental processes? Professor Loftus, we can start with you. What are your thoughts?
Well, polarization is really nothing new.
No coffee!
No coffee! Instead of brewing coffee, Starbucks baristas are vocally striking for change.
We're out here today because we're going on strike. Today is Red Cup Day, which is one of the most profitable days of the year for Starbucks.
Red Cup Day is when customers can get a free reusable cup with their purchase of a holiday drink. Today, hundreds of unionized stores are striking because of Starbucks union-busting actions. This includes withholding raises and taking away credit card tipping.
And it's really frustrating, so we're here to show them that we're not taking any more of that.
After a year and a half of anticipation, the baristas at Starbucks Razor Ranch are finally seeing their unionization efforts push forward. This includes Hinkle joining the unionization and moments like these.
Who calls the shots? We call the shots!
As of yesterday, the Starbucks on University and Hinkle held their vote to unionize, with all 19 baristas making the agreement to do so.
Yeah, I think it's really powerful. I love that, like, as different stores can be like a collective. I think it's awesome because we all go through the same thing. I think it's even more powerful for the community support.
As baristas are standing outside voicing their concerns, local management is inside trying to continue business as usual. Although they have declined to comment, Starbucks corporate has released a statement saying, "We remain committed to working with all partners side by side to elevate the everyday, and we hope that Workers United priorities will shift to include the shared success of our partners and negotiating contracts for those they represent."
We would love to be in there and do what we are here to do. We just need the tools and the resources to do it.
With North Texas Television, I'm Avery Callens.
Reba McEntire has found a place in our hearts in more ways than one. Now with the opening of her new restaurant in Atoka, you can now taste that love along with some local meat.
News 12's Avery Callens went to a local market today as they celebrated their opening and a partnership with Reba's Place.
From the farm to the slaughterhouse to the table, the meat processing done by Homegrown Meats is entirely done in the town of Atoka. Breaking ground today is the new storefront for the local butcher shop, Homegrown Meats. Since its opening, Reba's Place has only used homegrown meats for everything from its burgers to Reba's famous steak. This building stands as a representation of Reba McEntire's spunky personality. It will now be serving a bit of Atoka's personality as well. Gary Hidsley is a co-owner of Homegrown Meats, and he says a storefront has been in the works for 3 years.
You know, you just know that cow come to you alive, and you slaughtered it, butchered it, and put it on the table for somebody to eat in a local restaurant. It's surreal. You know, we butchered it, and it come from us.
Reba's Place is part of Atoka County's downtown redevelopment plan. When its executive director, Curtis Mortison, got closer to Reba through the development process, she made him the executive chef of her restaurant. Now he does both jobs.
Reba's developed, and we realized that we would be able to be the first restaurant to be able to premiere Choctaw beef in a major way.
Carol Irvin, Atoka's economic development director, says this greatly improves business opportunities, both for local agriculture and potential retail stores.
But our traffic count here is really driving, with the Reba's opening, a huge amount of interest in Atoka.
Reba's Place isn't just bringing in new tourists, but it is also bringing the community closer together.